Okie dokie, we are almost there. So what we need to do is to configure the application.yaml or properties to include some configuration that allows us to instantiate this data source that we can then obtain connections from within our backend to our database. And from that point onwards, we can start interacting with the database using an interface, which I'll show you in a second, that allows us to perform all the correct operations. So let's open up IntelliJ, and in here, open a project and open up application.yaml. So within this application.yaml, under Spring, we need to have the data source. And here we need a couple of things. We need the URL. This will be JDBC : and then PostgreSQL : / localhost : and then 5332. So this is the port that our database is running on, remember? And then /, and here we need to add a table. So here, let me just say basically customer. So I'll show you this in a second. Then what we need is the username, which will be Amigos Code, remember? And the password is password. Now here, I'm also going to add some configuration for JPA. So the first thing is I'm going to say DDL, and then basically is this one here, Hibernate, and then DDL auto. And here, let's just say create. So basically I want to create and then destroy the schema at the end of the execution of our program so that we have clean data. So if you want to keep data, so every time you start and restart the application, you could just say update. But in here, I'm just going to create drop everything so we have a fresh database. Then I need to specify, so basically same level as JPA, I'm going to say properties. And here we need Hibernate and then : and I'm going to say dialect. So the dialect for this will be org.hibernate.dialect.PostgreSQL dialect. And I also want to format SQL. So this will be true so that you can see the queries nice and formatted. And here under Hibernate also, and also, so under JPA, I want to show SQL. So by default, it's false. And this for some reason just added right at the bottom, but it doesn't matter. Cool. So I think this is pretty much everything we need. And in fact, I can see that this should be 5. So, right. So 5 and then 332. So remember, so when we connect it to our database, let's have a look if we can see the properties from here. So 5332. So this has to be the exact same thing. And also C. So Amigos. Oops, I can't even type today. Amigos and then code. I had a typo there as well, right? So Amigos code. And you can find all of this under the description of this video. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to restart the application, and just for your information, this will fail, but actually you'll see within the logs why it will fail. So if I restart the application, or start in your case, and have a look. So application, basically it started, but it has an error here. Have a look. So there's an exception here. And if I scroll all the way up and then have a look. So what we have is an error saying that fatal database customer does not exist. So we have to create this database in here in order for this to work. And the reason why it's complaining about is because of this line right here. So we are saying / and then customer. So this is trying to connect to this database called customer that does not exist. If we were to have Amigos code here, this would work because by default, there's a database called Amigos code, but we want customer. Next, let's go ahead and create this database called customer.